It's Valentine's Day. It's a certain rated episode.
No, it's not, AJ. Hello, and welcome to Outside the Fox, where we explore what's happening online and why it matters. I'm Kim Horcher.
My name's AJ Patel, and Valentine's Day is coming up. Now, most of us have used a dating app or two, but do we really know how much data we're actually giving these apps? Do you?
Of course I don't.
I
I'm
have
worried.
no idea. You know how I am with data. Luckily, we have an expert with us today from the Mozilla team, Reem, Suleiman.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Mozilla?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the US advocacy lead at the Mozilla Foundation, and I've been leading our campaign against Bumble, but generally trying to get the dating app industry to take privacy more seriously.
I'm curious about why Bumble in particular.
Yeah, so I can give you the backstory. We were really concerned, to find that dating apps hoard lots of data and have tons of intimate details about you, as you both said. And it makes sense. We're in a day and age where people turn to these apps and online dating to find everything from, a lifelong partner to a casual fling. So with Bumble in particular, they're a pretty great company. They're often lauded for their gender justice work. So we were optimistic, actually, that they'd understand that privacy really is a gender justice issue. Our hope was that they'd be one within the dating app industry to lead and help us change some of the industry norms that expose people's privacy. So it was really chosen from a place of optimism and hope.
What did you observe about the percentage of people that were opting in versus not opting in?
Well, so we wouldn't actually have visibility over that. I think only Bumble really knows how many people are choosing to opt in or not. The thing that, we're concerned about is just how this data can, if people aren't aware, how it can be used, especially with those third parties. Because, it's not uncommon for people to share things like their sexual orientation, their height and weight, or political views with a potential partner. It makes sense. You're looking for a perfect match, but few people are paying attention to the privacy details. And we honestly don't think it should be their responsibility to be hyper vigilant and make sure their data stays on the platform by reading all the privacy fine print and going in and making sure that their settings are airtight so that people aren't letting that data outside of the platform.
I mean, it's brilliant, really, because we enter this information and we don't want to lie because what if your potential partner finds out you lied about your name or your job or vital information?
That's so interesting because it is the one space that you do have to be, honest. So the focus isn't necessarily on what these people are entering into the app, but more so on how the app is kind of making sure that stays airtight and it doesn't sell it to external parties.
Yeah, because fundamentally, we don't think it's fair to put such a large burden onto people to have to protect their privacy themselves. And, you shouldn't have to be a privacy lawyer or a researcher to have to sift through pages of legalese to learn about these risks. The kinds of information that these dating apps have at their fingertips is incredibly sensitive. So we think that the threshold or like the amount that these companies should take to protect it should be much higher. And that's also why, we're really trying to mobilize consumers here so that they demand better from Bumble and the dating app industry in general, because it really shouldn't be on them to have to do that themselves.
I know the impetus here is to enact change overall, but is there anything people can do on a personal level to help protect themselves more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's three things that I would recommend people do immediately if you're currently on these apps. I would find your dating app's privacy settings and wherever possible, like number one, opt out of any sort of sharing or sale of your personal information and any non-essential data collection. Two, I would make sure that your geolocation is set to only when using the app, if that really matters to you, and if not, completely off if possible. And lastly, request to have your data deleted once you're done with the app. It's not enough to just delete the app from your phone and think that your data is completely outside of, the company's reaches. So they may still keep details on you and your account unless you specifically ask to have it deleted.
Reem, I have something to do now after this shoot. Oh dear, that's worrying.
Can we talk about it? So
I was on Bumble. I
right?
was on Bumble.
And then you just deleted the app.
I think I deleted my profile, but I don't think I did everything Reem said to do, including my data, my information.
That's why we have experts on the show, right?
I have to make sure. It's been a while.
Yeah. So Reem,
Didn't hurt. Hopefully you did, but just in case.
We'll see. I don't remember.
by now it's sold, right? No, that's bad. Sorry. Reem, do you feel like people are kind of being more lenient than because the trade-off is possibly finding a romantic partner?
I mean, I'll speak for myself. I mean, it is a noble cause to find love, and so it's understandable that people do. Like, and it's also where people are at. Like, people are dating online, and so it's and that's what angers me a bit about like how the industry has taken advantage of that situation and not taken privacy very seriously. And so I don't know how much more or how willing people are to make those trade-offs because I don't even know how aware everyday people are to those trade-offs. Like I definitely learned something in doing some of the background research for this campaign, and it definitely made me think twice, and I definitely pay a lot closer attention to the terms of some of those apps, like before I get on them.
What do you think this looks like in a future state? Even with, technology evolving, data is much more easy to spread around, right? As soon as you enter your data into an app, I can write something that scrapes all of that from whatever profile and send it to another party immediately. As this kind of continues to evolve, where do you kind of see the space going?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And it's something we're really interested in and watching as well, because a lot of dating apps have announced some sort of AI integrations right into their systems. And so several dating companies have announced things like AI wingmen. So, for
What?
I know it sounds so bizarre. Is I took a double take as well, but
Uh-uh.
Have you met Kim?
yeah, I know things that you didn't know you need, right? So Bumble said it was going to use AI to help users select good photos of themselves and set up their profiles. And then there's another, I think, announcement recently that Grindr was going to test an AI bot that will help scout for dates by dating other people's bots. And then, hopefully that makes it easier to find a better life partner. All of these things, time will tell if and how they actually pan out. But one thing I think in this trend towards AI for us to all pay attention to and really exert our agency over is what kind of data is being used to train these systems, right? I want to know, for example, if any of the conversations that I'm having on a platform between my matches, is that going to be used to train the data that's fueling this AI? Because you can imagine, I don't know how much I can, how PG or PG-13.
You can tell us everything.
Let's
if
do a
it gets cut out, it gets cut out. No.
Let's just say person A.
It's Valentine's Day. It's a certain rated episode.
No, it's not. No, it's not, AJ.
Just knowing the kinds of things and the kinds of conversations people have on these things, who knows how that will affect, what kinds of recommendations AI systems are spitting out. And so I think I really want to see people having an actual say and not passively consenting to that data being trained to build AI. And so, it's a really, really good question.
I think there's like a simple model in place now, right? Where I have not been on a dating app recently, but I do remember like, oh, this person might be your top match, and as soon as you open the app, they advertise that person to you. And they have to be using something to create those matches, whether it's just based on your preferences, like you said, height, weight, where you're located, whatever else it may be.
Yeah, sometimes it's racist.
Yeah, but
The one I met people on, or
Really?
Coffee Meets Bagel, got in trouble for people would say they have no preference, and then it would just be like, yep, you want to be with your own race. I think people expect a little more privacy when they're having private chats with someone they might consider dating. What is a resource people can go to if they've heard your message today and want more transparency in their dating app algorithm?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely encourage, especially if you're a Bumble user, to look for the Mozilla Foundation petition on Bumble. But you can also go to our website to find the research that we've done historically on several dating apps and see if yours is there, to get sort of tips to protect yourself and read, some of the privacy fine print and make your decisions and risks appropriately. Not trying to keep people off these apps, I will be clear. I just want everybody to have better choices.
I think that's great because that is not something I truly considered. And I think I consider my data privacy in many different aspects, but good grief, this is one that's a major hole in what I was even considering.
Yeah, it's interesting what we pay attention what there's a light on this. Oh, okay, my data privacy here. If I'm, whether it's renting a car like we've previously said or online shopping. But oh yeah, this dating app that's also probably doing stuff with my, all my data. So Reem, from the research that was done, is there anything else you found notably interesting?
I mean, one thing that stood out to me was that 88% of the dating apps that were reviewed against the privacy criteria that the researchers looked at, 88% did not meet the privacy standards, and that just feels completely unacceptable. Given the really scary situations we talked about earlier, when people, particularly from marginalized communities, have that data leaked. So I think this is a systemic issue that requires a systemic solution. And so really hope that people will not only pay attention in their own context in terms of how it affects them, but also broadly demanding better from the industry at large.
What were some of the takeaways after some of the actions that have been put into place? Could you kind of shed a light on that a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So after we launched the campaign, Bumble did towards the end of last year roll out a new, somewhat improved privacy policy. And to their credit, the new policy really set a bar when it comes to being accessible. It was easy to read, easy to understand. But honestly, it's still disappointing because the privacy settings still put the burden on users to flip that privacy switch. So one thing to know is that actually recently announced that the Bumble founder, Whitney Wolf, is coming back back in March as the CEO. So we're really hoping the new leadership at Bumble won't leave us on red again.
I see what you did there.
I know, I can't help it.
No worse feeling than being left on red.
Or ghosted.
Or ghosted.
Reem, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well then, please feel free to let us know in the comments what your favorite dating app is. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to download Firefox because it's the best. We'll see you next time.